Welcome everyone, thanks for joining. And in today's video, in today's stream anyway, we're going to start building a dashboard from zero. We're going to start using AI in this case to build the dashboard, and afterward we're going to start advancing. So what I'm going to do is that something which I think it's very easy, but maybe this can currently maybe it can be quite confusing in the start. Okay, but first, as you can see, we have in this case Stitch from Google, not the Stitch from the movie, but this one. So what we're going to do is that we're going to ask in this case to design a dashboard in this case. So it's going to design the dashboard, and then we're going to start building from there. But before we build, what we're going to do is that we're going to create the project first, and then we're going to start building the dashboard in this case. So instead, we're going to select web in this case. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to open my terminal in this case. So npx create Prisma PHP latest in this case. So enter. There we go, and this is going to be Prisma PHP dashboard. So this way I'm going to upload this repo in GitHub, and then you can clone it, and we're going to see how we're going to do it in this case. So first of all, Prisma PHP dashboard. So let's yes, okay, no, Tailwind, yes, no, Prisma ORM, yes, Docker, no, in this case. So easy as that, we're going to start building the directory and installing all dependencies needed. Okay, there we go. Okay, now access code, and then we're going to close this session because we already have. So what I recommend, as always, npm run dev. Okay, here we go. Now we have our project in this case. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is that we're going to go to the, in this case, source application, and I'm going to create a directory which is going to represent the dashboard in this case, and we're going to configure the authentication, dashboard, all those things from start. So first, what I want that it's that how I'm going to work with SQLite. So I'm going to prevent when I update the framework in maybe in future. I don't want the framework change my .env file. So prevent updating, replacing, and then what I want is that I don't want the framework modify Prisma PHP. So in this case, let's say Prisma, and then I don't want you to update the Prisma schema. What next? I think that's all in this case. So I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to start updating. In this case, I'm going to work with SQLite, and for SQLite, I'm going to start using the documentation. So let's go to Google Prisma PHP. Okay, so in the documentation, Control K, started, there we go, Prisma config. So database setup, no, that is for Docker. So where we go, ORM. So Prisma config, database setup for SQLite. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy this section and place here. That's all. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to start generating my Prisma models in this case. As you can see, the model is very easy, which it's come by default. So I'm going to use this same model. So npx Prisma migrate dev, and if everything's gone good, we have, yes, let's go. Now we have our database in Prisma in this case. There we go. So next thing, what we're going to do is to generate the Prisma, in this case, PHP classes. Okay, npx ppo generate. That's all we need. There we go. Okay, we have npx command clear screen, and now we have in our library we have Prisma and then the classes which belongs to our database. Okay, next what we're going to do is that we're going to create, in this case, the row for the dashboard, and we're going to create a layout file because the dashboard is going to be, let's say, the page container. So we're going to create a layout PHP, and the dashboard page, in this case, that's dashboard index, is going to be index.php. So this is going to be, let's say, paragraph page content, in this case. Content. There we go. And now let's navigate to dashboard, and as you can see, there is the layout file does not contain any of these, so I'm going to copy this and put to the layout, and let's say main layout not found. Sure, I know. There you go, PHP use ep slash main layout, but put inside. So that's all what we're going to do, because the styling section is going to become more visible when we start working with Stitch in this case. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to tell Stitch that I'm going to be very maybe small prompt, create a running dashboard. What kind of dashboard will? Okay, dashboard. Let's go with sign in dashboard analytics dashboard. Okay. I think I'm not so inspired. So let's see what about. Afterward, we're going to decide if we need to modify things like that. So I'm just going to say that I don't know what result it's going to become with. So let's see. Okay, there we go. It's going to start creating in this case, so I'm going to wait until. But while it's creating dashboard, we're going to go to this website, in this case PHPX UI. So I'm going to go to component and installation, and you're going to, in this case, you need to read the installation. So I'm going to install globally because I want just install globally. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now what we're going to do is that after installing, in this case, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to install, in this case, install a button. So phpx UI add button. But for you, you can go to, in this case, button in the component section, and there we go. We got button, in this case the coach going to be so, but the installation, in this case, you can copy, and as you can see, I already add the button there. But how I install it globally, I can call it right direct from the name, and there we go. In this case, it start installing. As you can see, it's installing all requirements. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we have installed everything what we need, in this case the component. So we're going to go to, and let's find button, click me, and in this case we have nice good looking chassis and buttons style. So what next we're going to do is that, let's say I want the variant, in this case variant, maybe we have this maybe outline, things like that, in this case. All right, there we go. Okay, now let's see what about there is the variants which you can use in this case. Okay, so okay, what was the stage? Okay, it's kind of weird in this case. Welcome back. Okay, let's see what. Come on, Stitch. Issue. Issue. Maybe with this styling. I think I was so confident that Stitch is going to come with a good idea, good design idea. But anyway, okay. So let's start working now. Okay, as you can see, the thing is that I can go to the dashboard without starting a session. So I need to start a session. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create, in this case, a group. I'm going to call it out in this case. So I'm going to say sign in the PHP, which is going to be my sign in row in this case. So what next I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the library and authentication in out config. So I want the token to be auto refresh, and I want all rows should be private in this case. So when I save this, you're going to see that the dashboard is going to go to sign in now, because this means that all rows are private now. Everything is private. So after this configuration, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to sign in and see what about in this case. So okay, okay, there we go. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to preview maybe. There we go. I'm going to choose just this section because I don't know. No, I just want this section. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that we're going to come to more and see the code in this case. And there we go. We have this information. Okay. Okay, I think Stitch let me down because I don't. Oh, oh yes. Oh yes. Mm-hmm. Now it's looking good. Okay, so let's see. Mobile. Yes. Okay. So just the logging, I think the logging okay. There we go. Let's see if start fixing. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to see if I like this one. Yes. Wow. Okay. Yes, this one. Let's preview. Yes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that we're going to come, in this case, view the code, the body, see what above is. There we go. Okay, now next, what good about Stitch is this section in this case. So let's say when you go, in this case, you select this thing have, let's say, a design, in this case, modify, let's say I'm going to edit, but when you go, it have a, let's say, design section, so you can copy this and then maybe you can go to, in this case, maybe to your I'm going to use GPT for this, design.md, and now globals.css. So I'm going to copy my current global.css and paste, and now I'm going to tell that improve my globals.css. I'm using flat-seal programs. Follow design.md and okay, so CSS v4. Okay, let's see, and then lead. Yeah. Okay. Okay, still working. Okay, now let's copy and place format some. Okay, we have a good start. Okay, there we go. In this case, I'm going to fix some small issue in this case. So I'm going to see what we have. This is the logo in this case, and it's not been loaded, so that's why it's looking that way. So I'm going to come to index in this case. So let's see where is the okay, section. Okay, this have some style in this case in the code. Let's see. Okay. There is material outline. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, but I'm not going to use that. So what I'm going to do is that auto this message is going to go away. There some as and then we have then okay, so this can maybe if you want you can remove this section in this case. I don't feel that I need that section. So maybe there we go. Google GitHub, I'm going to remove those two. So social, I don't want any social. This section I don't feel that section. Just one. Okay. Okay, email, password, keep me signed in 30 days. No, I don't know. Wait, I want something. Don't have account yet. Create. No, I don't want any of that. What about the those direction workspace? Nope. Okay, I think now we're good to go. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to change that this button in this case. I'm going to move all of this class and import button from the component in this case. Okay. Class with full. Forgot password. Goodbye. I don't need that. Okay. Okay, this looks kind of weird. I'm going to install the input too in this case. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to install input component. So npx phpx UI add input. So I'm going to use the input in this case. So instead of having this input, I'm going to import this input this way, and I'm going to get rid of all this way, I think I don't need this. Yes, but wait. Um, I don't need this. Play with password. Input. Okay. Now I'm going to center in this case. Well, I don't want that. Okay. Okay. Now we have completely loaded. So what we're going to do is that now I think yeah, this is pretty decent loading in this case. So what we need is that we just need to loading if we have the user in this case. So let me see if we got any in this case. I don't have any user currently, but I have this seed, so I'm going to use this information to start creating my user. So let's see, option MySQL, and going to go Postgres SQLite section there. Here we go. SQLite. Okay, there we go. Okay, now next thing is that we're going to this the default. There is no default. I think I'm going to remove that section. So Postgres. There we go. Okay. Okay, so if everything going as expected, we're going to have a user. So what I'm going to do is print npx, in this case npx Prisma Studio. As you can see, we have user and we have no user in this case, and no user. So we're going to start creating one. So npx Prisma db seed. There we go. Oh yes, nice. Admin user, and we have in this case we have a dummy user to play with. So I'm going to close this, and now I'm going to start working on the loading section where I can make, let's say I'm going to put the username and then the password, and I'm going to load it, because as you can see, when I want to go to the dashboard, it's redirecting me because I'm not signing currently. So first, what we're going to do is that we're going to create a function which is going to start requesting if the user exists or not in this case. So I'm going to do that, let's say in this case expose. So in expose, I'm going to say that but if I put limits in this case, I need to activate this section. So okay, it's very important that you know how to activate this section if you're going to use limit, because currently it's a good good way to protect your API rows in this case. So I'm just going to show you what maybe in next video we're going to do it in this case. So if you're going to use, let's say you want to limit, in this case limits, you can say that limits 5 requests per minute in this case. But when you use this limits, you are using under the hood the rate limiter, in this case this class. And the issue with this class is that you need APACU in this case enabled in your in your SAM in this case. So here's the instruction to install everything, but currently I'm not going to rate limit in this video, but in next video we're going to install the APACU and things like that for SAM, and afterward we're going to rate limit because it's best practice, because remember you can't let the API open so user can't abuse your endpoints. So it's a best way to do. In this case, what we're going to do, expose a function. I'm going to say sign in, so it's going to receive data in this case. So I'm going to just return hello. Is it going to have some so clean? In this case, I'm going to create my script tag here, and I'm going to say async function handle submit, and so when the form is submit, yes, okay, default from data, yes. And what we're going to do is that we're going to create a const response wait ep function in this case, and the function name is sign in already there. So this is going to be the data, and let's see what about. So console response. Okay, there we go. So now what we're going to do is that I'm going to open in this case and sign in. I receiving hello, which means that it's working as expected, because as you can see from the backend, I'm returning hello. But what about if I want to return the data? So I'm going to return what I'm receiving in this case, just for testing. So there we go. Now we're going to sign in, and we are receiving in this case an empty array. So let's see, sign in this case in payload we aren't sending any input to the backend in this case. So I'm going to put name, email, and in this case name, password. So this way we're going to capture the information, and now we're going to send to the payload. And if I go to the console, in this case I have this return, because I'm just returning the data in this case. So what I'm going to do is that, okay, I'm receiving email in this case, so I'm going to say validator and validate email, in this case data. What we're going to do is that we were receiving email, yes sir, password. And now let's say we need both. So if return, we're going to say success false message. There we go. So now if the let's say we're going to put a message, where we can put message right below this. Yes, I think below that we need a message. So I'm going to have a message which we're going to call request message. So, and this is going to be, let's say class text. We are working with CN color scheme, so it's going to be destructive. There we go. So currently we don't have any message, but we're going to declare the cons request message. Just for testing, I'm going to do hello. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, we have our hello there. Next, remove. All right, now, so anything, let's say if I want to put in this case, let's say maybe any message in this case, if it's success true, in this case, let's say if everything return success true, sign in successful. Okay, so sign in successful. So now what we're going to do easy as this. We're going to first you're going to find the user. So let's say I'm going to, in this case, use lib Prisma classes and then Prisma. So we're going to declare in this case Prisma the instance. So first of all, we're going to search for the user in this case. User exists. So Prisma user find first email. So if the user exists, we're going to send the user information in this case. User exists, and if not, user not found. So we're going to return success. Let's send the user information. So we're going to say user just for and user exists information. So if the user exists, in this case, we're going to print, let's say, instead of saying successful, you're going to say that print the username in this case, or the email, or things like that. So we're going to print the username. So we're going to get the response that user that name. That's it. Okay, so sign in, user not found. Okay, but if I say gmail.com 123, I get the user name in this case. Easy as that. So there we go. In this case, as you can see, it's working as expected, and we don't need to set any kind of response here. So we're going to set it in empty. But what we're going to do is that if the user exists and the password in this case it's the same, so we're going to log into the user. Easy as that. Okay, let me okay, so now what we're going to do instead, here we're going to here user not exist, and we're going to, let's say we're going to one in this same or yes, the password and the message should change now. Invalid, yes, there we go. Easy as that. So now we know that when we come here, the user exists. So we're going to start this session now. Okay. Okay, so now the easiest part is that we just need to authenticate if the user exists. Check this. We're going to say out, which is in lib out, and then we're going to get instance because it's a singleton, and we're going to go to sign in, and then we're going to pass the user data in this case. So I'm going to say data, and then the user exists. But what I'm going to do is that I don't need the user complete data now, because remember we have the user password, we have all those kind of things. So what we're going to do is that we're going to get the exist user, and then if the user exists, we're going to let's say create a user information, let's say user data, which how you want to model your data in this case. So and what we're going to say that in this case in user exists, what I need to do is that I want to include the user role, in this case true. So this way what I'm going to do is that, let's say id user role user data, and in this case user exists user role, just that. So you're going to know that user role has the ID and the information. So when we include, we're going to include this, it's going to have the ID and the name, in this case in the role section. So you're going to do, let's say you're going to model your data, and then I'm going to say that the redirect in this case to true. So I want by itself to redirect. So where it's going to redirect in this case, in lib out, in out config, we have that default sign-in redirect, we have dashboard. So this means that in my authentication, if my default logged in, I have dashboard, it's going to go to my dashboard row. So in this case, I'm going to send this, and we have invalid email or password. But if I pass the correct, in this case, let's say I'm going to fail in my password, so 1 2 3 4. So there we go. But why it's loading, I don't know. It was 4. Let me see the logic. Let me see the logic, because user exists, password and the hash. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to clear I think this thing is not clearing. It's clearing the cookies. No, it's not clearing the cookies. Automatically reload, yes. Now yeah. Okay. Also cookies, and where I can save. Where's the save button? Where is the save button? I think when you just click it, or also let me see. Clear. Oh yes, working. Okay, so something is wrong in the logic. 1 2 3 4 5 6. I know that now. Yeah, now it's working. 1 2 3. Sign in. So invalid email or password. 1 2 3 4. Yes, it's working. So 1 2 3 4 is the password, and there we go. We have now we have been redirected into our dashboard. So as you can see, login process, it's very easy, and in this case, remember you need to say that this is required through save. Yes, there we go. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to have, let's say, a logo button, but for now we just clear the cookies and we have redirect to our sign in. So now in this video, as you can see, we have complete the sign in section. So in this case, any user data, in this case, remember you have the name, you have the name in this case, the name, email, maybe you want the image, you're going to get the image and things like that. So there we go. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to initialize a new repo in this case. So I'm going to register. Okay. Calendar, yeah, I think good. Okay, let me see. Good. Yes. Ignore. Wait. Publish. Public. Okay, so now how are we going to clone this repo in this case? How this repo is going to be in the documentation in this case, when you go to Prisma PHP and go to starter kits, in this case starter kit section, you're going to find out that this dashboard starter kits, it's already available and which you're going to download from there. So as you can see, in this case, maybe you want to let's say clone the repo in this case. So let me open Prisma PHP. This open. Okay, in your Visual Studio Code, in this case, how the repo already exists and it's public, so you have access. So what I'm going to do is, let me see if everything gone as expected. There we go. So we have some issues here. Let's say fail to start a key, permission denied. Okay, so there is some issue to fix in this case, as you can see. So in next video, in this case, because this is going to be like say we are starting and we're going to finish delivering our complete dashboard, sign in and dashboard, and then you can clone it, and afterward you can do anything you want, because as you can see, the easiest way when you are working with Prisma PHP and styling, you just come to this section, in this case global, and then you're going to, let's say, maybe change color depending on your brand. Okay, so I think we have completed the task as expected. In this case, the login section, we already have linked with our database. We already have finished finding the what we expect. So if there are any question, well, you can ask any doubt about Prisma PHP or about anything about the database, about things like that. So you can ask in this case. So anyone? It worked. Okay. Okay, so how there is no question, what I'm going to do is sum up. Okay, what we end up doing is that we are creating a starter kit dashboard. In this case, you're going to just clone the dashboard and you're going to have the code, and you can just fix in this case, or maybe you can use the color how you want in this case, because let me finish adding the, in this case you can come in stage, and you can create your, in this case, brand, and then you're going to go to maybe modify, edit in this case, and then design. You copy this, give to your ear, and then give the globals, and it's going to start modifying depending on your brand color. Okay, next thing, we finish adding the authentication, sign in this case. Maybe you afterward, maybe you want to add, let's say, maybe email recover, things like that. That's why I create a group, in this case, a group route. Next, we have the dashboard, but we're going to work on the layout section, but in next video in this case. So in index, we just copy paste the HTML direct from Stitch, and we have this. For me, this is very decent looking, because our menu going to go here, and our brand, the search, maybe we don't want to have a search or things like that. We're going to see, and we're going to finish doing modifying and updating this. In this case, let me, we have a nice looking tools notification. So, okay, so that's it, the sum up, and well, in next video we're going to continue until finish building the dashboard. In this case, as you can see, I start from working with Stitch. In this case, I choose this, but in the beginning, Stitch let me down, so I start chatting to modify, and I till reach to the desired solution. Okay, so for by my part, it was pleasure to share knowledge, things like that, and so on. So happy coding, and see you in the next video.